So your second question in your show you know is fraction operations, or BeDMAS with fractions, but this time instead of being an actual question, it's giving you a story problem that utilizes order of operations of fraction sets. That's a great one, actually. It says Ron earns $15 an hour as a security guard. For time worked above the 35 hours a week that he normally works, he will earn what's called overtime. And his overtime rate is what's called time and a third. That means he will make his normal wage, plus he will make an additional third of his wage, or 1 1/3 times what he normally makes an hour. How much does Ron work for working 41 hours? So I'm going to write it down in words first. So it's regular hours, regular wage, plus his overtime wage, equals his total salary, or total amount of money he makes that week. So his regular hours will be $15 multiplied by the first 35 hours of his week that he works. To that, we're going to add his overtime wage. So here he made $15 an hour, but here he's going to make $15 multiplied by 1 1/3, because he's going to make 1 1/3 times that hourly wage, multiplied by the number of overtime hours he worked, which we're going to write in brackets as being he worked 41 hours that week minus the 35 hours that he would normally call his regular hours. This will be how many overtime hours he worked. So this whole convoluted, pretty complicated looking expression is just a way to represent fraction operations and numbers in a situation. So this first one, 15 times 35, if I simplify it, is going to be $525. That's how much money he makes for working his regular 35 hours. Plus 15 times 1 1/3, or 15 over 1, multiplied by 4 over 3. When I work that out, it's going to be 60 over 3, which is going to be 20. So when I work that out, that 20 represents how much money he makes working time and a third. So he makes 20 bucks an hour, or a third more. Now, we all knew that a third of 15 was 5. So if he makes $15 an hour, he gets an additional $5 overtime bonus. So he makes $20 an hour, multiplied by the number of overtime hours he worked, which was 6. This 6 is represented by how many hours he worked that week. Take away his regular hours. That 6 represents how many overtime hours he worked. So he had $525 plus an additional $120 worth of overtime wages. So his take-home paycheck was $645. And therefore, Ron earned $645 for working 41 hours of work.